In this tutorial, we'll be designing a character using Affinity Designer. And if you're unfamiliar with Affinity Designer, that's okay. We're going to take it very much step by step. And we're going to be drawing some fantasy characters. Be a good place to start. So let's have a look at getting to know the toolbar and the tool set. The first things I've done already, if you can see there, I've created a square 1024 by 1024. It's an icon size. Familiar if people have had to put anything on the Apple App Store before. Their icons, their artwork icons are 1024. And it's 300 dpi RGB space. The other one is an A4 size, 210 by 297 millimeters. And I set that one too at 300 dpi. You want it nice and you want nice high resolution. Now the A4 size one, that is quite a large image, and you can enlarge and reduce images in Designer as much as you like, so long as you stick to vector drawing. They won't pixelate. So let's go with the icon to start with. There's our square size. And the parts of the toolbar that we're going to need in this exercise to start with is the pencil tool. You'll see it there on the left. Pencil tool, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the sixth line down, sixth icon down, just there. Okay, now I haven't drawn anything because that's off the canvas. The other thing we want to do, because it's the pencil tool, if we want to get smooth lines, and Designer will smooth the lines for you, doesn't matter about the brush size or anything at the moment, you've got pencil selected. Let's set the rope stabilizer, and the length is 35 pixels. That's the length of the piece of rope. Think of a piece of rope being dragged around. Now if you drag a piece of rope around the boundaries of a square, the piece of rope itself, it's in the sand, will form a smooth line, even though your hand may go around the corners of the square. The rope won't follow your hand if it's a suitable length. And that's the idea of this one. So the controller on the front one, jumping a bit ahead there, rope stabilizer, you can shorten that if you like, because the shorter length will sometimes give you a little bit more control. And of course you just move that onto there and you can set that what you like. Go back to there. The controller, we don't need to worry about at the moment. There's velocity, pressure, automatic and brush defaults. Let's leave it at brush defaults, shall we, for the time being. Now next to it is use fill. No, we don't want to use fill, because when you construct a curve, if you're using fill, it will fill in the inside part of the curve. The width of our line at the moment I've set to 2.5. We can probably make that a bit bigger for rough images, but that's all right. We don't want to worry about that sculpt. We just want to, if it's not selected, then you're not using it. Let's go and have a look at the sizes over here. Now from previously, that's a line width, and that will pressure. That will let's reset the pressure, and it puts it back up there. I was using it previously. We're on that one there, so that you've got an actual brush, and the width is 2.5. You can of course move that up and down there, but let's go back to 2.4, 2.5. Nice round number so I can remember it. This line here adjusts your pressure of the brush, and you can form different brush stroke shapes, and I'll show you that as we get to it. And that's all there is to it. The other tool icons over the side we'll use as we go along. Now I'll just draw a line in the middle of it, and you can see the rope dragging that around. And you can see the different pressures there that's come up in there. And over on the left hand side here, there's a little X. You tap on that and it deselects the line. Now I'll get rid of that line because we don't want to use that at the moment. So let's have a look at the next step. We've got to make a duplicate file, we've got to add some layers and so on, and we'll do that next. Let's take that right back to square one, ready for our next step. Looking again at designing a character, and you can see that I've got the top right hand character, little monster there, nicely highlighted. But what I want to show you first is doodling and organising and making duplicates and choosing a sketch to refine. Now I won't go through the entire process because it's quite a lot of work. Let's look at and you'll be sitting around for hours watching this, and I like to keep my videos as short as possible. So what I've got there is 6, 7, 8 sketches, 8 little doodles if you like, that are somewhat refined than what one normally does, but I did acquire these from another source. But that's okay because they're suitable for this purpose quite admirably. Now, what I've done is put them all in one file here, and that's what I like to do when I'm drawing anyway. Lower the size of your brush to around 2 or 3 pixels and the opacity to 10 to 20%. And then you can start brainstorming your monster ideas very quickly and keep your sketches rough and loose. You don't want a masterpiece the first effort. Now keep each doodle on its own layer and do this so you can move and resize each sketch individually and organise them on the page. So you can actually have them organised just like this. And you can see at the moment on the right hand side in the layers column, there is each layer has its own doodle on it, and I'll show you that in a moment. Now I've made a duplicate of that file, that one there, of that layer, and separated out all these other layers. Of course I've done this one back to front. Instead of doing each doodle on its own layer, I've started with the entire set of doodles on one layer and then cut and pasted them into their own layers. Sort of back to front for this exercise. But this exercise isn't about cutting and pasting. I want to show you how to organise them. Now what we've got here, I can turn that layer on and you can see the top right hand monster. That's the one I'm working on at the moment. Now that one's there and it's just that monster in its own layer. I can turn the rest of the picture off and there's the monster all on his own, ready to be worked on. I'll leave that on just for a moment because turn that on there. That's the base layer for the test. See that image there that's highlighted? What I did, we're on the pencil, go to that. That doesn't make a difference, I want the pencil back. Okay, now that's the layer that goes in there. And it's been expanded to that. You can see it's exactly the same image. That one there. And that one there. That's the original. I expanded it to that size so I can work on it. And it's in that layer there, which is where I'm tracing it from. Now there's a reason for that. If that's your original and you're tracing over it, which I'm doing in this case, when you begin tracing you end up with a large number of curves, and it's really difficult to see your original, which is the base layer of that whole group. However, you can see I've got it turned on there and I've turned it on there. But as there's more and more strokes going onto that, you've got to wander through and find, oh, where is that layer? There it is there. So with that one turned off, there's nothing there. But I can't see my own work, all those layers that I've put on there. So I have to go right down there and turn that one off. Now I can see the drawing I've done. And on here, I've used both the pencil, and I've got a 10.3 pixel width on that, and a 2 pixel length on the rope stabilizer, which you can reduce to 0. The other tool I use on there is the pen tool. Now the pen tool really does have some bonus benefits, because you can see how I'm changing the size and the pressure of those lines in there with that. That's in that section. But go back to the pencil and bring that up. Turn on that layer. Makes it easy to turn on and off, you see. So I can do some more strokes there with the pencil. Put a few more fangs on. Do a little bit of work on there. Do the earring properly. Smudge that in. And you can see what you're doing. Now look on the right hand side again. There's extra layers I've added in there. But to see, in order to see it without the master underneath it, just compress the layers, turn that off, because it's outside the group of layers. Remember, it's a duplicate of the one that's in there. But it being outside, I can turn it on and off at will. Now that's very important. You don't want to be scrolling through all those layers looking for your master. Now you've got the master outside, and what you can do with that, of course, when you're finished, you just delete that layer, because you've got the original back there underneath. And of course, if you want to, you can delete that. There's the work I've done so far. Very rough. No way I'm happy with that. But it's a start. What you do is turn that off, and you can begin refining that. You can enlarge it, you can do what you like with it. You can put other material around it. Brush strokes, colouring, do what you like. That's the layer you're working on. What are the other ones? It's that one. That's that one. That one. That one. That one, that one, and that one. Now, of course, if you've got all of those in one place, then you can put them into a page like this, and that's only a 1024 by 1024 page, remember. But what I'd recommend is that you draw each one of those individually on its own layer, and then you can arrange them like that and have them all in one place. That's if you want to keep them all in one place. It certainly makes life a bit easier. If you've got a whole bunch of doodles like that you're going to put into a comic or something, keep them in one place. Okay, that'll do that for the moment.